Salve, salve galera, sejam todos bem-vindos ao Infinyt Gamer'S, aqui é o Will, estamos com God of War 3, já zeramos ele aí, graças aos deuses, já zeramos ele. Ô mano, tô falando enrolado, por que será, hein? Até agora há pouco convidei vocês para vir comigo aqui, pra gente explorar esse lado do making off desse jogo, que ele é master mega especial para todos os gamers e espartanos que exploraram em todos os templos, todas as partes de God of War, desde o primeiro até o terceiro, até então, onde a gente está aqui se preparando para explorar, conhecer mais sobre o making off, sobre os estúdios, sobre tudo como foi feito o jogo. Então bora lá, aqui a gente tem novo jogo, carregar opções aqui, acho que em tesouros. Exatamente, aqui tem vídeos, trajes, arena de combate e desafios. Acho que a arena de combate deve estar bloqueado ainda, né? E é desafio, então a gente vai ver por partes aqui. Se você é novo no canal, seja bem-vindo, se inscreva, deixa seu like para deixar cada vez mais forte o nosso canal e poder trazer futuramente novas histórias, novos jogos para vocês aí e poder interagir cada vez mais com vocês. Lembrando que Ragnarok, o 5 nós vamos trazer, vamos pular o Session, vamos pular diretamente para o 5, que é o Kratos e o Atreus. Vamos trazer um feat, vamos fazer um feat aí, né, com o Juan, que vai estar com a gente participando aqui. O Charlan também vai sair dos estúdios, vai vir para cá para enfrentar com a gente essa treta. Eu acho que amanhã a gente já começa aí trazer esse Ragnarok. Eu acho que seria bom a gente já lançar mais tarde ele para trazer, para não ficar tão puxado pro Ragnarok, porque faltando, eu acho que entre 10 a 9 dias para estar estreando o Ragnarok, beleza? Então vamos aqui em vídeo, vamos ver que tem aqui, ó, tem bastante coisa para explorar aqui. Criação de God of War 3, animação, design de câmera, arte de personagens, combate, arte de ambiente, design de níveis, captura de movimento, música, criação de Poseidon, olha que louco. Tem mais aqui, programação, garantia de qualidade, arte tecnológica, interface de usuários, desenvolvimento gráfico, efeitos visuais, dublagem, que é louco, vídeo de jogo, créditos de abertura, vídeo de jogo, a queda de um guerreiro. Acho que aqui a gente vai conseguir também respostas para o final do God of War 3, né? Qual foi isso aqui? O controle de Hefesto, vídeo do jogo, segredo de chama, vídeo do jogo, a história da caixa, vídeo de jogo, Kratos encontra a esperança, vídeo de jogo, a derrocada de Zeus, vídeo do jogo, fim. Tem bastante coisa para explorar aqui, então vamos dar o começo aqui. Qual que é o começo dele aqui? Caraca, acho que eu me perdi. Vamos lá então. A criação de God of War 3. Alerta, spoilers. Esse documentário discute pontos de trama e elementos do jogo. God of War 3. A galera nos bastidores do estúdio aí. É a maior galera, cara. Em primeiro lugar, bem-vindo. Uma festa com muita bebida, comida e diversas. Vai ser fantástico. Estou muito contente em resultado final de God of War 3. Estava bastante... Caraca, a câmera vai me atrapalhar, cara. Eu não vou ler em cima para não atrapalhar. Vamos lendo aí. Isso aí, na verdade, é uma resenha que os caras estão fazendo, né? Aí os caras estão comemorando, já terminaram o jogo, beleza.
God of War 2 ended up being everything we ever hoped it would be, and probably a bit more. It got reviewed very well. I honestly feel like it was probably about as good a game as is likely to be made on the PS2, and I'm very proud that we managed to do that.
Oh, one big family here at SEEA.
Once you start something, you gotta finish it. So that's the way I look at things. God of War 3 is gonna be the conclusion to the story. My hope is to make the best effects I can.
Espero fazer o melhor efeito possível neste... A resenha dos caras muito louca. Os caras, festa fantasia os caras fizeram. Quando penso em God of War, penso melhor no jogo de ação. O estúdio olha para nós e dizem como conseguem, como...
And that's rad because I've totally been at the company where we looked at that game and went, man, how do we do that, you know?
Mano, deve ser muito louco, né? Resenha dos caras deve ser... Deve ser brava, velho. Olha a gente se trampando num lugar desse aí.
I would be satisfied if we tie it all up and we can kind of close the book. We're past
Salve, salve!
figuring out what we want to do. We're now in the early phases of sorting out the how we're
Salve, Emanuele! Arthur, tamo junto? Tamo aqui explorando os making of de God of War 3, pô. Aí é toda a galera, todo o elenco aí que participou do jogo. Surprise Teams Met em novembro de 2007. Os caras começaram a fazer o planejamento do God of War 3, né? Não vou conseguir acompanhar além por causa da câmera. Corey Brogg, o diretor criativo, já deu aviso prévio. Essa é a reunião, os caras fazendo lá, ó.
Next Friday will be my last day at Sony Santa Monica. The bomb was dropped. It was somber and everyone was quiet and no one said anything, and perhaps there was a tad bit of shock. It's killed me because I really do want to say something, but it's just nothing you can say is going to come across as anything but you're an asshole.
When I heard that Corey was going to leave was kind of annoyance more than anything. It's, you know, takes a
Ó,
long
o maluco aí vai ser da companhia aí,
as
ó.
much as a successful product, it's always a pain.
É, e é o planejamento do jogo. Isso aqui os caras estão fazendo reunião antes de lançar o jogo. Então os caras estão trocando ideia aí, o dia que os caras vão começar a trampar. Ó, os desenhistas, dublador, tudo aí, cara. Estou muito triste, muito decepcionado, porque o cara vai sair, um parceiro deles aí, ó. Nunca estamos preparados para uma coisa dessas. E nunca nos avisam, já chega anunciando, foi um choque. Nunca esperei que Corey abandonasse o projeto assim. Mas depois do choque inicial, fico feliz por ele, porque vai experimentar coisas diferentes. Isso aqui os caras estão conversando a partir de um parceiro deles aí, né? Um cara, acho que fez e participou do God of War anterior, né? Esse maluco que vai sair. Escolha muito difícil, complicado, não é uma decisão que... Claro que é difícil imaginar alguém que possa substituir Corey, ele é demais. Aí viu, o cara participou do God of War 2, o maluco. Deve ser um cara muito pique, hein? Cara aí que fazia a diferença aí, ó. Santa Mônica Studio, da Santa Mônica, né? Verdade, 2007, hein, cara? O jogo foi lançado em 2010. Eu escolhi sair ausente para assumir o comando. Ah, já substituiu o cara. Quando me tornei diretor, a equipe teve uma reação. Até agora todos têm sido muito legais. Recebi um grande apoio até agora. Oh, deve ser louco, hein? Vejo a maneira de Corey liderar com as situações até aqui. As coisas mais importantes que aprendi com ele é o fato de terem sido eles próprios até o final de God of War 2.
Stig is fucking amazing.
Stig's a really good leader, I think mostly because you're probably afraid of him when you first meet him.
The entire team really respects him. Everybody communicates well with him, and he's not unfair.
Por ser de 2010, ele tem um gráfico muito bom, cara. Exploraram muito o PS3, né?
engineer friendly.
One of my strengths is to try to lead by example. Hopefully that filters through to the rest of the team and they're able to approach their tasks with total excellence.
All those leads from the last game, those key people, they're in place. And that's really where the personality of the studio comes from. That's where the drive.
Os caras já fazendo os projetos aí, os projetos dos desenhos. E aqui os caras têm que estudar muito, cara. Os caras têm que estudar tudo, cara. Isso é... Olha o tamanho da sede dos caras.
Techniques are required to make a game on the PS3, which means that we have to learn some completely new techniques for writing our game code. It's also a completely new graphics processor, so we have to learn about those graphics.
Técnicas gráficas, descobrir como mostrá-las para o artista e ter uma arte possível que o jogo tenha visual semelhante aos designs e a expectativa das pessoas com a aparência dos jogos. Querem mais inimigos e efeitos mais complicados, mais ação. Eu acho que atrapalha se eu ficar lendo aí, né? Ficar...
God of War 2, the team was able to throw so many things into the game and get things up and running and finding out, is that fun or not? The hard transition for God of War 3 is getting all that to work again because we have so much new technology that has to be built. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody has to relearn their own personal expectations and their limitations and how they're projecting their schedules and their tasks and things like that. Everybody is counted on everybody else to kind of make accurate predictions on what they can do. It's tough right now because everything's new. It's so much more involved. That's very worrisome. When are we going to get to the point where we can say something's going to take 4 weeks to do and it's really going to take 4 weeks to do? It's understandable that nobody understands that right now.
PlayStation 3, we're able to push a lot more polygons, a lot more texture resolution and detail, so things are hyper realistic.
Usaram mais polígonos e gráficos do PS3, né? Cabelos, sobrancelhas e pelos e tudo. Temos enorme. Todos os personagens demoraram de 6 a 8 semanas. Para fazer antigamente levavam 5. Ah, é foda, hein, cara? Pra mim não é saber onde estão os limites, pode fazer aqui.
Yeah, it's exponentially more complex. And the other big thing is this is going to be our first PlayStation 3 game.
Aí não estava terminado o jogo ainda.
Some studios have released 2, 3, even 4. Gamers are expecting us to have better technology, better art, better visuals, better gameplay. Across the board, they expect it to be better. And that's pretty intimidating in itself.
We're going crazy with the detail. When it's done, I think it's going to look incredible.
You're going to see Kratos do a lot more subtle movement, more facial animation.
Caralho, velho, que legal, mano.
The human eye just, usually takes for granted, but now we can include all those things.
The things that we can actually accomplish are starting to now really become things that are only limited by our imagination.
With the new hardware and the new system, we're able to kind of start pushing the player experience and creating like
Podemos começar a melhorar a experiência do jogo no mundo mais coeso, extremamente titãs eram consequências. Os caras fazendo a estrutura da Gaia.
Titans we've never done anything like that.
They're pretty crazy.
It's insane. The fact that you're going to be able to run around.
É uma pena, poderia ser muito, pô, se fosse dublado seria bem louco, hein, cara. Arthur, esses caras são foda, mereceriam um grande prêmio. Ah, os caras ganham bem, né, velho? Os caras ganham bem pra isso. Isso aqui em 2007, cara. 2007. Os caras ficou 3 anos, de 2 a 3 anos fazendo o projeto do jogo, imagine. Um jogo em trabalho em 3 anos, cara, é foda. Ó, 2008. Hoje veio ver o trabalho de você. Ó, o Stan Lee, cara! O Stan Lee, cara! Foi lá ver o jogo, cara! Caraca, mano! Caralho, que moral, hein, velho? Stan Lee, cara! Mano, que moral, velho!
really it's impossible to keep on top of everything that any given part of the group has been working on. It's an opportunity for everyone to see what cool stuff has been going on in the studio. It's a good way of making everyone realize that they're part of a big machine at this point.
Plus, everything looks better after you had a couple beers, so it helps to make your stuff look better.
É o Stan Lee, criador da Marvel, responsável pela maioria dos super-heróis aí, ó. O cara era uma lenda, ele é uma lenda, né? Mano, os desenhos dos caras, velho, isso é louco. Um videogame com muito diálogo, certo? Que ia vender como água. Esse cara é muito inteligente, velho. Mano, isso é louco, cara. Fotos, desenhos, e outros, os caras zoam pra caralho, os caras brincam o dia inteiro, né, mano? Caralho, Stan Lee, cara. Olha ele aí, ó. Uma moral, hein? Isso aí já dá pra perceber já a moral que os caras não tinham. Stan Lee é o cara. Esse é um barracão, um galpão onde os caras trabalham aí, ó. A Santa Mônica Studio. 2008.
I'm fine with it as long as we make it seem like it's in-game as much as possible. I'm still learning every single day, and I imagine that process won't ever end. And there's so many things that you can learn from every individual on this team.
Stig is kind of man of the team, you know, very easygoing, very casual, but he's also extremely intelligent, very thoughtful. I think the thing that's
Desligou o controle.
for him is
Deixa eu ligar de novo aí.
want to help him out. They just want to make a good game.
Stig just keeps pushing along. He's got 2 brand new twins at home, and
yeah, it just keeps on
he's
going.
got this other baby, this big baby on his back right now, so he's doing great.
Since last Halloween, made a lot of progress. We've got the story of the game done.
Aí os caras já estão no último design do jogo aí, ó.
3 months from now, you know, we're going to be doing our press event.
Pra poder montar tudo e...
The first couple times when Stig addressed the team, it was so clear how nervous he was. He would kind of stumble on his words, and he'd literally, you know, turn red, you know, like a stoplight. It was really kind of endearing. But then to watch him sort of evolve, and honestly, I think I was a little bit concerned that, you know, our game director is our public face, and we actually gave him, you know, some media training. And Stig actually asking people, he says, you know, honestly, I don't want to think about all this stuff. I just want to be myself. Is that okay? And they said, you know what? Absolutely.
Ó, 2009. É que os caras vai... Mano, que louco, hein, velho.
Will is our stand-in Kratos when Kratos isn't here.
Pena que não dá pra ler tudo, né?
We picked the venue and the location for the spot, and we brought all the media here. We have something like 60 people here from the media. I can't wait for them to see the actual gameplay. But these guys are
Pode ser que tenha, né? No Ragnarok vai ter, não sei. Eu sei que esse aqui tem os making off, agora os anteriores eu acho que não tem. Esse trailer é massa, cara.
Through the first couple slides up here, and then I'm going to start to walk around. Nobody has seen the gameplay outside of our studio, so.
Ninguém viu o jogo fora dos estúdios. Quero acabar logo com ele. Ó, o cara vai. O cara vai apresentar ali, ó, pra galera. Porque você vai trabalhando, você não vê, né, direito como fica depois de montagem. A mesma coisa de fazer um filme. Agora toda a equipe descendo lá uma espécie de sala de cinema, né? Porque eles vão assistir pela primeira vez o jogo montado. Oh, deve ser legal, hein, cara.
What is the vision for God of War 3? We want to define this generation with this game. We're going to take a close look at him. I'll talk about some of the features that we're using on him. Here he is. We've got blended normal maps on him right now, so you can see the realistic muscle flexing. I would imagine that we've got one of the most advanced systems for that in the industry right now. The battle's in full swing. The god Helios is in battle with a massive titan. And Kratos is going to launch into battle and start doing some damage on the grunts here. Now, Todd can easily just grab one of the grunts by pressing circle, and if he continues pressing circle, he can beat the crap out of him. But if he presses triangle, then he can rip them apart. If he presses X, then he can throw them. And one more move, square uses it as a battering ram, and then he can take it, mash circle, smash his head against the wall. And all these moves are interchangeable.
É, pode ser que os caras fazem, né? É, trailer acho que nem o 5 tem. Que louco, cara.
Now the way the Chimera works is a three-stage enemy. First you fight the snake stage, and then it changes its stance and you fight the lion stage. We're really having fun with gore on this game. Entering the Cyclops.
Legal se o sangue ficasse no chão, né, cara? Não spawnasse. Nem os corpos dos inimigos, mas... Perdi demais também, né? Mano, que louco, né, velho?
Well, that's our newest upgrade, the Helios head. It can be used to reveal secrets. Todd has now found the door of Eos. Another thing the Helios head can be used as is a lantern in darkened areas. This is our newest form of travel in God of War, Icarus Ascension.
Que louco, velho.
Flight controls over Kratos and basically dodging gameplay. That's it.
Louco, hein? Show, velho. Você tá maluco. Pensava ter uma noção de como seria o jogo, mas isso superou todas as expectativas. Vamos ter um conteúdo nesse jogo. Você disse que acha que esse jogo precisava de definir uma geração de acréditos. Louco, legal, cara, muito louco.
We got a lot of work to do, so there's no time for relaxing, that's for sure. E3 is obviously a big thing. We got to get this playable to the public, what we just showed on the demo here. We're in pretty good shape for that, but we got to get the game done. But we still got a lot of work left to do.
Cada vez os caras batem uma meta, né? Agora eu estou muito nervoso por causa. Nada de errado, não há nada de errado estar tão nervoso.
It's kind of ironic that most people would have been happy with the reaction for the press demo, and we were kind of like, we could have done better. We've undertaken to basically change the rendering path between February and E3 to make it look much prettier and much more next gen. We have this amazing capacities and never know when to stop. Hopefully it'll all come together. I think it will. It's looking very nice. We definitely know how to pressure ourselves.
This team sets the bar really high. We could settle for a lot less.
A gente vendo os caras têm todo esse trampo para fazer o 3. Imagina como não foi o 5, né? E foi também o Ragnarok.
There's definitely pressure, self-created pressure, and then pressure from other departments just to get everything done. We're all just trying to do our best.
I think the most pressure we get is from ourselves.
O cara parece o BRKS duplo.
So we're really pushing each other the most, I think.
It's a lot of back and forth.
The following week, it's absolutely second to make sure it's stable, and we are at frame rate. So, stay with that. You want to just
The dead soldiers on the ground aren't in the poses.
Nope, and they don't have blood streaks and stuff in here.
Tyler, do blood streaks.
Alright, so we need a book over here then.
Os caras estão discutindo lá, quando os corpos não estão no chão, deixar sangue e tal.
We have to open and close the book. Yeah, there's a book for it. Wish I would have known that when we built it, because we didn't build it to open and close.
Wait, you need the book to open?
Os caras estão discutindo os bagulho de...
There's no limit to good ideas, but there is a limit to how many.
Não há limite para as boas ideias. Quantidade de boas ideias não deu para ler, mesmo que temos decisões de progresso, isso não quer dizer que...
This thing is active now.
Can we remove it for E3? Are you serious? No, I'm not. I mean, there's a lot of other shit here to get done.
Nossa, você é maluco, velho. O bagulho é...
In an active state.
Let's say we don't do the open and close for E3. It would just have a glow effect and a light that comes with it, and that's it.
Do we just put a sparkle on it then?
Absolutely have any compromise for the schedule right now. I have to trust production, and I have to trust the fact that they're telling me that we can't get things done. So I feel like there's little things that have been compromised. I don't know that the player's going to necessarily miss them, but I sure am. It's part of making games. You don't always get what you want.
This seems like harder than the last time I played it.
We have to keep in mind that somebody from the street is going to be playing.
Ô, caraca.
And I don't know. The way it looks right now, on 3 tries, people will throw down the controller.
The stuff we just went through, pretty rough. It's a little frustrating from the respect that it's been.
Bom, aqui para não dar muita interação, cara, que o controle tá sem a bateria. A gente conseguiu explorar um pouco aqui do... Tem muito mais coisas. Deixa eu dar uma olhada aqui em animação. God of War 3 Animation. Estamos aqui na mesma lugar, eu quero dizer... Aqui já é outro departamento, ó. Os caras fazendo outra ala de movimentação.
One cool thing about this character also is that he's actually kind of like a throwback character. We're bringing him back from God of War 1. He actually wasn't in God of War 2 because we definitely want to keep reminding the player that this is a trilogy. It's like they're not supposed to be seen as separate games. So what about animating Kratos? Like what are some of the things that are kind of challenging him?
He has a specific poses that describing him. He has a kind of like a language of poses. You have to use those poses to invent some new animation. So.
We're fortunate to have Leo here because he's joining us for God of War 3. He actually is a new member, one of the newest members of the team. So he's doing a great job.
One of the factors of animation is that you're kind of trying to make it invisible. The more successful we are, the less you really notice the animation.
The stuff we've got going on with our boss fights is going to look really impressive. It's another kind of key development for this game, I think.
We're working a lot with the designers, like way more closely, and creating new things with them.
There's a certain type of feeling that in animation we have to achieve. And the most important part, of course, is Kratos and how he moves. Kratos is very direct. We don't try to make him too fancy. If you notice, a lot of times when he's having conversations, he's just kind of standing there waiting for the moment where he needs to say something.
Everything that Kratos does happens for a reason. I don't know if many people even notice these things, but Kratos never moves backwards. He's an aggressive character. He moves with a purpose at all times.
Acho que aqui os caras estão estudando a movimentação de corpo, né? Cronos. Qual é o desafio de animar algo tão grande?
I just had an idea and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go with it, which is kind of a bad idea. I learned my lesson. At the same time, I'm glad that it's decided that it is, and the players will be happy that it's in there. I think they'll get an adrenaline rush just from seeing the sequence.
Bruna Paulino, boa, tudo bem? Gosto muito dela. Eu não tenho o que eu queria que fosse meu filho. Não entendi nada. Ó, animação, design, dando um passado meio rápido aqui que a bateria do controle tá... Design de câmera, vamos ver aqui, arte dos personagens, aqui é os desenhos, né? A modelagem dos personagens consiste em pegar a arte do desenvolvimento gráfico, modelo em 3D pintando, dando a vida e entregando a construção do personagem. Aqui é uma parte que eu gosto, hein?
It's in general just become, I guess you'd say, more sophisticated, but it's more of a traditional media now. It's kind of, if you know how to sculpt traditionally, then you're going to transfer right in. Traditional skills are playing a more important role, which is great.
Do you feel that you channeling the great masters of art history to help you achieve a new level?
Raphael, you know, they speak to me.
Really. One of the big things that I was looking forward to doing is nasty stuff like this, because before this I had been doing more technical stuff.
Os detalhes, né, mano, que os caras pegam.
Doing realism is fun to a certain extent.
Ó, o Hércules.
It's more fun to do something that's slightly realistic. There's more artistic license as far as where you can go with it. With realism, there is no artistic license.
Creature design is kind of the most exciting thing. Like Peter was saying, artistic freedom, and just you can do kind of whatever you want and you push things. I mean, that's what the great masters did. So it's
os caras desenhistas é os caras mesmo, que os caras são foda, mano. Aqui é as modelagens, né, dos personagens.
Actually draw on, paint on the screen, sculpt in ZBrush, which is very helpful and amazing. And then on the left of me, I have my standard monitor where I usually keep my reference. We're able to give metal a kind of specularity that we couldn't before. Scratches, blood, a real shine and realism that we couldn't deliver on the last project. We are working with a lot more polygons and a lot more textures on our project this time, per object.
Here's Hermes, the concept art that I got from Andy Park, who did a great job. You can see the boots are in there and what supposed to be what material. We're still working on the cloth, making sure that's all rigged nicely. And right now, I'm fighting with the hair, trying to make the hair look good. So hopefully by the time you see this in the game, it'll be looking nice and transparent. So here we are starting him out in ZBrush and adding a lot of the little detail. Say if you wanted his skin to bulge around these straps, it would be really easy to go ahead and just add musculature in here.
Imagina o trabalho que não dá, cara, dos caras fazer detalhe por detalhe. Então você pode me derrotar, mas em Frequency, você... Centauro.
They always do like a color version first like this to kind of nail the feel of the character and like what he's all about. And then they'll give us these turnarounds like this one. We have, you know, the horses have these like chest muscles that kind of flow up into the horse neck, you know, this way.
Bom, aqui tem os designs, né, dos desenhos que os caras estão fazendo aí, das modelagens dos personagens, tudo. Deixa eu ver se eu consigo dar uma avançada aqui. Ah, não dá pra avançar, cara. Dá? Não dá pra avançar, mano, é uma pena. Kratos foi criado a partir de zero porque não tínhamos certeza de onde queríamos chegar. O jogo mudaríamos completamente ou se manter agora os caras estão desenvolvendo ele, né?
We started out way out there. 2.5 years later, we decided that he looks like the PS2 model. So we're back to where we started, but it's really coming together, and it's right for the game. Kratos is a very heroic, very stylized silhouette, a very thin waist, very broad shoulders. He has kind of a swimmer's build on steroids. He's 8.5 feet tall, and he has a head the size of a 4 foot tall person. His waist is probably thinner than all of our wives. He's a trippy looking guy, but he reads really well in the game. Basically what I'm working on now is we've got an upper body and a mesh that the art director as well as the director really like. So now it's a matter of creating a blend map, which is new technology for Sony Santa Monica, in that we can do expressions. Basically I'm just creating the rage, sculpting him looking angry, and we'll be able to blend this new facial expression into the current model. So we can go from here to hear. The satisfaction comes to seeing him in the game saying, wow, that's him. Only look, you can see his veins and you can see him breathing. It looks better than the cinematics. That's kind of that's the satisfaction.
Son has returned. I bring the destruction of Olympus!
Cadence Crow in the opening cinematic flies down and ends up landing on this hapless.
Caraca, é muito louco, cara.
The guy, he rips the eyeball out of the socket. So it's especially like juicy.
Uma parada aqui, cadê?
Today I'll be working on the vein of
Aqui tem os combates, vamos dar uma olhadinha rapidinho em combate. God of War 3, combate, design de combate.
God of War 3 is a complex role. Basically has anything to do with characters in the game. Any character you see moving in the game, attacking, fighting, are generally implemented by the combat designer. And then of course Kratos, what his platforming elements are going to be, what his new combat moves are going to be, what weapons he's going to use, how he's going to use them, how he walks, everything. I'm here with Jason McDonald, who's a senior combat designer in God of War 3. And we're just talking about the new features that we have in the game and what we're trying to add to the God of War franchise.
Well, we've got some of Kratos' items in. He can grab a head and he can light stuff up. Now that we can play with lighting in God of War 3, we can make the entire room dark, have enemies that are attacking you in the dark, can't be seen. And when you light them up with the head, they light up for a limited amount of time, so you can attack them while you can see them, but then they are constantly disappearing.
You get the parts where it's completely pitch dark and you hear the guys scream in the background. You use the Helios head to, find out where they are. The strategy gameplay, the combat side of it turns into, you have to keep these guys lit to be able to hit them, otherwise you get screwed and they just destroy you in the dark. So.
Definitely something we couldn't do before, just because we didn't have dynamic lighting to the extent that we have it now. So
we got the combat grapple in.
We tried the grapple stuff in God of War 2, but since we were limited on memory and animations and things like that, we just couldn't do it, and if we couldn't do it well, then we weren't going to do it at all, so we just didn't do it. But now we have more space, more memory. Kratos is a very strong character, so when he grapples an enemy, he kind of just charges right in and plows through everybody. So the grapple system is exactly like that. You can launch somebody in the air and you grapple them and you ply yourself right into the air, right into them. If there's a crowd of enemies, you'll ply yourself through all of them.
Hey, I'm at Brian Yu's desk here. He's a senior combat designer on God of War 3.
For this particular boss, which is a huge scorpion, you want to make sure the presence is there and the player will feel the power of the attack. Usually for attacks for boss character, you want them to be really recognizable so the player knows it's coming, because if the player cannot recognize the move and react in time, they get hit, because it's boss character, you will take a lot of damage. So it's not fun, if you don't see the attack coming, you're being hit. So that's something that we try to work really hard on.
I'm here with Jason DeHarris, combat designer on God of War 3. And we're just looking over some of the writable stuff that's early in development. So how do you think it's going?
It's all right in terms of Kratos. He still wants to kill this beast that's in his way to his ultimate goal. So he doesn't. It's not really his friend. So he's not really telling it to attack. He's just trying to kill it, and then the indirectness of that is the Cyclops reacting to his pain, pretty much. But then there's a challenge of making it feel responsive as well. So I guess it's kind of disguising that responsiveness with the pain reaction. So even the pain reaction is really a hit, actually.
As you can see, we got a bunch of grunts on screen right now. And, when you're fighting all these grunts, like taking on, doing a special move or, grabbing each one and killing them, that can be kind of slow. This will be an awesome tool for, like, you see the Cyclops in there, you're just like, I want to get after the Cyclops so I can jump on his back and do tons of damage and kill these guys quicker. But just like any other feature, we have to prove that it's going to be fun and good. And, if it's not, you got to get rid of it, because everything has to be fun.
A reação dos golpes aqui é muito louco, né? Arte de ambiente, design, tem bastante coisa. Deixa eu ver a música aqui, dá uma passadinha rapidinho em música. God of War, música, a produção musical de God of War 3 é bem extensa. Hoje estamos trabalhando com o nome do fulano, ainda nem pra ler, tão difícil que é. Skywalker.
Francisco-based musicians from the San Francisco Symphony, the San Francisco Opera, who are phenomenal. We're really fortunate to be working with legendary engineer Leslie Ann Jones. Tim Davies has orchestrated everything, and he's conducting from the podium. That's pretty sweet. He really knows the music, and he really puts his all into interpreting what the composers are after.
Really pointed. Give me that nice pop on the end of each group. Here it is.
Da hora, hein, cara. Interação aí da galera jogando aí, ó. Fazendo a trilha sonora, né?
Originally comes in from the composer in what we call a mock-up, which is basically he's using his synthesizers and samplers, and you know, we call them fake strings, fake brass, fake choir, to assemble the composition.
And then once it's approved, it comes to me to translate that and put it on paper for the orchestra. It's damn expensive to have an orchestra sitting there, so my job is to make sure that everything's spotless on the page in their language. When dealing with an orchestra as a conductor, I think 75% of it is your rapport and how you can interact with the musicians, getting them to do what you want in a highly stressful situation, making it lighthearted enough that no one freaks out, but you got to keep it moving. Give me everything you've got on those crescendos at the end of each phrase. Here it is. They're a pack, and they need a leader, and they're all brilliant musicians, but there's something about when you put an orchestra together, they need that.
A galera toda, cara, fazendo a trilha sonora aí, sem contar God of War, tem a trilha sonora desse jogo aqui é muito braba, cara, você é louco. Aí, ó. Aí, ó.
They can smell when you walk into the room if you can do it and if they're gonna go with you. I've been lucky that, you know, they like me and I've been here a lot to the ranch to conduct, and you know, it works really well. They're a great orchestra.
Mostrar um pouco a gente conhecendo um pouquinho sobre o making of de God of War. Vamos ver, criação de Poseidon tem aqui também. Programação, dá uma olhadinha em programação, ver o que tem aqui. O papel do programador é ajudar a transformar tudo em realidade.
We make tools that allow the designers and artists to actually make the game.
If the designers want to do something.
Bruna, as trilhas sonoras são show, são top.
If they're smart, they'll consult us and ask.
Isso aqui já é outra parada.
Often we'll say no, and then they'll say we want to do it.
Deixa eu ver o que a gente tem aqui. Garantia de qualidade, arte tecnológica, interface de usuário, desenvolvimento gráfico. Desenvolvimento gráfico, deixa eu dar uma olhada aqui.
We're kind of the bridge between the ideas that Stig and the designers come up with and different 3D departments. We help visualize it on paper, painting it up, drawing it up in 2D, and then they take that and actually make the assets for the game.
You have to come up with cool design with limited time. The design also has to make sense to art director, game director, the lead artist. So it's definitely fun, but it's stressful. What's usually given to us is
imagina o trampo que os caras não tem, cara, de desenvolver tudo, cenário, trilha sonora.
There's always sort of a highlight on special abilities or things that we need to focus on.
There's only 4 concept artists here. We all sit together, so we do get to see what we're doing.
I feel like I should know a lot more about Greek mythology by now. I should have my PhD degree or something. Yeah. But still, a lot of times, I just sort of make up a lot of things, and it's still a lot of fun.
Right now, as you could see on my monitor, working on
Pandora Cage.
This is a final concept design that was proved and it's good to go. But to get to this point, there was a lot of sketches, a lot of color variation, a lot of input that I had to get through. We've tried maybe girls hanging together, or we tried maybe girls holding the fire torch, or we even
Que os caras falando sobre a Pandora, efeitos visuais, vamos dar uma olhadinha.
Senior effects artist and working on God of War 3. This is my new helper or friend.
Valeu, parceiro, tamo junto. Valeu pela parceria aí. Abraço. Até o próximo junto. Até a próxima história, tamo junto aí. Valeu. Amém, a sua família também. Forte abraço aí. Vamos ver aqui, dublagem. Vamos ver a última aqui, acho que é dublagem. God of War 3, Voice Acting. Estamos iniciando hoje a pista de música. Essa é definitivamente a sessão mais complicada que eu tive que elaborar. As dublagens dos caras, né? Valeu!
I'm a little nervous about this session, just the number of variables. We've got a lot going on. 2 actors at a time. We've got a lot of people going to be at the session. We've got facial capture, we've got teleprompters, we've got all kinds of stuff. It's a new studio. There's room for error, but I like to think that I've nailed everything down before we got there. But I'm definitely, my breath's coming a little shorter today than it normally does. We are moments away.
What was it, Kratos?
All I remember is what I have lost.
Show, hein, velho.
That's why you should give me the power. I understand its true meaning. And my character, I like to think of
Dublador do Kratos lá, o original é muito louco, cara. Sendo que o dublado aqui também é bom, muito bom, viu? Não sei quem é o dublador, brasileiro, mas o cara é bom, viu?
Kratos, I found out, is a piece of me that I kind of didn't know existed. It's kind of a dark side that it really is fun getting a chance to explore.
I delivered your revenge on Zeus.
My vengeance ends now.
Louco, cara.
I owe you nothing.
When you have the other actors
Legal, velho.
able to come up with a rhythm, it makes it more real.
I really, really like it. It gives you a chance to play off of what the other person is doing as opposed to doing it by yourself.
We're getting so much from this performance that we wouldn't normally get. I'm totally stoked about it right now.
You owe me this, Kratos.
I owe you nothing.
Bravo. That's perfect. Awesome. That was it. That was it.
I knew you'd come back. I've never worked with
Pandora.
actors, and it's really freeing for the actor
Pandora.
because, you know, you're looking straight ahead instead of always, you know, face down in the page.
Durinha.
It's really a cool experience. Find the labyrinth.
Nossa.
Help! Kratos! One of my favorite things to do is scream. I really, I like it. I don't know why. Maybe, no, I don't know why. I saw Zeus torture my father. I just try really a simple approach to it. It's bringing those words into your character and actually thinking a thought before it. It makes it more real. They called me a monster.
Natalie was new. We had never worked with her before. She was an ace.
Caraca. Dá muita coisa pra interagir aqui ainda, ó. Vídeos do jogo fim, vamos ver o que é isso aqui. Essa é a cena final aí do God of War 3. Caraca, arrombo do caramba.
You disappoint me, Spartan.
A mãe também não tem nenhuma pedrada pelo filho, hein? Caraca, um arrombo do caramba dentro do cara, velho. Sendo que esse corte o Zeus já tinha feito nele no God of War 2, né? Acho que é só a cena que mostra o final. É só isso mesmo. Então beleza, galera, isso aí foi o nosso making off. Não vai dar para explorar 100% aí o making off do God of War 3, mas deu pra gente ter uma noção básica aí do que de como foi o projeto, como foi fazer, né, esse clássico, esse jogo incrível que é o God of War 3. Então, como disse no vídeo anterior, vamos pular aí o 4 e diretamente pro 5 e rumo ao Ragnarok. Embora não vai dar para fazer o Session devido à placa de captura, né, para poder estar usando o PlayStation 3. Então isso aí, a gente se vê aí no próximo vídeo aí, ao God of War 5, né, rumo ao Ragnarok. Valeu pelo seu apoio, pelo seu like, pelo seu parceria, pela sua participação aqui com a gente no vídeo aqui, beleza? Então tamo junto, misturado, e até o próximo vídeo. Valeu, tamo junto.